Good evening, National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated family. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this evening's NBC USA Hope Temple Care Matters webinar. I'll be your host for this evening, Michael O. Minor, and I am humbled to be the National Director of our National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated Hope Health Ministry. We greet you in the joy of Jesus, and thank you for joining us the first Tuesday of February. Look, we want to give a shout out to our national president, Dr. Boise Kimber. We thank God for his leadership. Tonight, we gather to strengthen our churches, protect our communities, and walk together in faith, health, and service. So this is what we're going to do tonight. We're going to be focused on several timely topics. We're going to talk about extreme winter weather preparedness, food safety, heat, and home readiness. National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, which is on the 7th. NBC USA Hope 2026 Blood Drive Kickoff. Our Sleeves Up campaign. Women in Heart Health, American Heart Month. Go Red Day, February 7th. And of course, what we do every year, NBC USA Hope Wear Red Sunday on the third Sunday, February 15th. And we'll give you a preview of March Health Observances. So, look, we're sharing this on social media. Give us a shout out to let us know where you are joining us, your church, your pastor. It is time for TempleCare Matters for the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated. Here we go. All right, tonight we want to begin, as we always do, with our respiratory illness update. COVID-19, flu, RSV. And our update comes from late January. All right, so we want to take a look at what's happening right now across the country. Not only with COVID-19, flu, RSV, but other respiratory illnesses. Winter is always a challenging season for our families, our schools, and our congregations. And staying informed helps us stay prepared. Even though overall respiratory illnesses levels are lower than they were earlier in the season, flu and RSV are still circulating pretty well, especially among children. And COVID-19 continues to move through communities at a moderate level. These conditions affect how we gather, how we care for one another, and how we protect the most vulnerable among us. So let's take a moment to review the latest trends and talk about what our churches, our National Baptist churches, can do to keep our members safe and healthy. COVID-19. Activity is elevated in some areas of the country, though not at peak levels. Emergency department visits for COVID-19 are low and decreasing, but wastewater levels are moderate, suggesting continued community circulation. Now, what does this mean? COVID-19 is not surging nationally, but is still active. Wastewater trends show the virus remains present, and some regions are seeing increases. All right, the flu, influenza. Seasonal flu activity remains elevated nationwide, though it's declined over the last 3 weeks. Emergency department visits for flu are moderate and decreasing, but hospitalization among children 5 to 17 are stable, and ER visits for school-aged kids are increasing. The new dominant strain for influenza, H3N2, is driving the high case counts this season. What does this mean? Flu is still widespread, especially among children, but overall, national activity is trending downward. What about RSV? RSV activity remains elevated in many parts of the country, especially among infants under 1 year old and children ages 1 through 4. Hospitalizations are highest among infants, and emergency department visits remain elevated. Wastewater levels for RSV are low, but clinical activity remains significant. Now, what does this mean? RSV continues to be a major concern for young children, even as wastewater signals remains low. Other respiratory illness levels, the overall level of acute respiratory illnesses nationally is low, a shift from earlier winter spikes. Flu and RSV remain the primary drivers of respiratory-related medical visits. So, like the takeaways for our churches, encourage your members, especially seniors, children, and those with chronic conditions, to stay home when sick. Promote flu vaccinations. Not too late. It's in this season. It remains the strongest protection against severe illness. Remind families with infants to be especially cautious due to elevated RSV activity. Continue basic prevention, hand washing, masking crowded indoor spaces, and staying home when you are symptomatic. Now that we've reviewed the latest of our COVID-19, flu, and RSV, let's shift from what's circulating in the air to what's happening on the ground. Because when winter storms hit, wow, especially in rural and underserved areas, the challenge isn't just staying healthy, it's staying safe. Power outages, freezing temperatures, and limited access to food or heat can turn a cold snap quickly into a crisis. And for our National Baptist churches, that means being ready to serve, support, and share practical guidance with our members. Across the country, winter storms continue to impact families, especially the elderly, those with chronic conditions, households facing energy insecurity. Tonight, we want to equip our congregations with practical steps to stay safe. Let's talk about how we prepare our homes, protect our families, and equip our congregations for extreme winter weather. During the recent extreme winter weather snap in our area, here in the metro Memphis area, North Mississippi, there were several recurring questions. So we're going to ask them and answer several of them. The big question was, what food should families keep on hand for winter emergencies? All right, well, so you should look at shelf-stable items that don't require refrigeration or cooking. Think canned beans, tuna, peanut butter, granola, dried fruit, crackers, and of course, your bottled water. Include baby food or special dietary items if needed. Keep a manual can opener handy. I know we got so used to the electric one, but it's no good having those cans if you don't have anything to open it with. All right. Another question has been arising: how long can food stay safe in the fridge or freezer during an outage? Well, first of all, keep the doors to the refrigerator and freezer closed. Refrigerated food stays safe for up to 4 hours. 4 hours. Freezers can hold temperatures for 24 to 48 hours. Discard anything above 40 degrees for more than 2 hours. Throw it away. Hard cheeses, fruit, and condiments may be safe longer. When in doubt, throw it out. When in doubt, throw it out. And please don't taste the food to see if it's still good. Don't do it. All right. The third question that come up, well, what are the biggest dangers when people try to stay warm during power outages? Guess what? It's two words. One starts with a C, one starts with an M. Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a major risk. Never, never, never use gas stoves, ovens, or grills indoors for heat. Only use gas generators outside, where far from windows. Bottle up, seal drafts, and create a warm room with blankets and closed doors. And the final common question was, going back to gas stoves, are gas stoves a good option for heating during power outages? Actually, they aren't. Here's why. Carbon monoxide dangers. Gas stoves are built for short-term cooking, not long-term heating. Now, when you use it right, properly, it's okay. But when you use it improperly, you can get dangerous levels of carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is invisible, it's odorless, but deadly, can kill you without warning. It's a fire hazard. Leaving burners or ovens on for extended periods increase the risk of overheating and fire, burning the house down while you're asleep with you in it. That's not good. And especially true if there's flammable items nearby. Of course, there's the ventilation risk. Without the electric range hood, that has running, there's no power. Okay, so you don't have the ventilation. Fumes can build up because it's not properly ventilated. This can lead to a buildup of harmful gases, like carbon monoxide, inside the home. Bottom line, never use a gas stove or oven to heat your home. Instead, layer up, seal draft, and use safe heating methods designed for indoor use. Let's keep our homes warm. Let's keep our homes warm, and let's keep our homes safe. Now, let's go to the field for a community update. And we're joined now by Pastor Bernard Montgomery, our Assistant National Director. Pastor Montgomery, can you share just a little bit about what's happening at the Bluff Springs community? First, you let them know what Bluff Springs is, about in the area that you serve. Pastor Montgomery.
Good evening, Dr. Minor. Thank you so very much. I'm Pastor Bernard Montgomery, and I have the pleasure to pastor the Bluff Spring Missionary Baptist Church in Sardis, Mississippi. Well, Dr. Minor, well, this is one of those storms that we had in the last week. It's probably been more severe than I think 1994. And so you're talking about more than 30 years ago, but it takes storms like this for us to settle down and realize that we need to go back and do some leg work, some footwork, and prepare some things. Because we've discovered here where I serve as pastor, not one size do not fit all. Because most of the members where I serve, they're in the rural. However, there are some in city limits, and there are some in apartments as well. So what do we do? How do we address that? I think what we have to do, as far as the church where I've served, we have to sit down and just evaluate what we have, because what works well for the apartments would not work for the rural areas. Some of the problems that they had, it wasn't the financial structure of it, but it was the ice that had trees and limbs has fallen across the roads, lines has been broken. Now, what that left is the fact that whether you had the funds or not, the power couldn't get back cut on until they clear the roads and the line. And The
Ooh,
ice was on the road, so therefore the trucks that with propane could not get in to serve those members of our church and other communities, those type of things. So our backs were really up against the wall. We thank God for the progress that has been made. And there were some of them that did have generators, but once you run out of gas, your generator's gone. And those some of the generators are solar power, which is great, solar power. But however, the first day or so with the rain and there's cloud and stuff, so it's going to take almost a day for you to recharge generators. So we're going to have an overall discussion and go over the this one size again does not fit all. But what I looked at, I do have a generator. It's a gas generator. Now you can utilize that gas generator, but make sure is it is not inside the garage, nowhere inside the homes. Also, make sure that you have good cable cordage that you're going to hook up to and don't overload what you're trying to do. In other words, that you put a power surge protector on there, you have 10 cell phones. That is not what they are designed to do.
God.
What I often say when you buy items like this, make sure you check with someone at the store and ask them what would be the best or the most efficient ways that would work for you based on the circumstance you have. Also, now the gas generator is going to be a little bit cheaper than the solar panels. But what I would also want to mention is that if you get the solar panel, you can actually use those in July and August if you got small window units. And with the generators, certainly you would try to maybe heat one or two rooms. You don't want to try to heat the whole house unless you got a generator or something of that nature. But however, they may run out of gas as well. But even with generators, it comes service. But you have to have oil, you have to have your filter clean, and these things must be taken care of before the season start, early fall, or that you get these things addressed and make sure those things are clear. Also, what we're going to discuss is how do we want to do with these our companies that do serve us with propane. Some of the members on 40-day cycles, 60-day cycle. Well, do we want to just cut that cycle down to 30 days or whatever the company can adjust so that we have those tanks filled up by the 1st of January each year? So those are some of the things that we're going to discuss along with other things that you alluded to as well, batteries and got to be careful about the candles and types of space heaters that we're going to use and those type things.
Well, what can we do from the pulpit, and our church boards? How can we help our members prepare before the next cold snap hits?
Well, let's we can have a general discussion or survey. We can have a partner, a buddy, or membership relationship. Number one, with those individuals that are in the churches or based on your street or your neighborhood. If you're in the rural area, you need to know your neighbor. Now, your neighbor may not be what we consider 20 yards away, maybe a half a mile away. But nevertheless, we need to know who our neighbors are and be willing to share. And what I would say all the time, call someone and let them know whether you're at home by yourself and save your energy. I mean, do not get on the phone if your power is off. You have to have limited restriction. Govern yourself. Listen, I check with you every 2 hours, every 4 hours, or whatever the case may be, and give updates. Perhaps in a group text. Therefore, it can be shared rather than each individual trying to share that information.
All right, this is not common, very common sense things to do. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we move on?
Well, let's go with medication. I think that's very important. And contact information. And if you would have again a central location that you would send information to just to get updates. And by all means, just be patient. Do not get upset with the gentlemen or the sisters, whomever is trying to restore your energy and your power and those type of things, because we have a neighborhood app. And believe it or not, some of the people are upset because their garbage wasn't picked up. The- Some things you have to put on the back burner in these type of conditions, Dr. Minor.
Wow. 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 All right. Well, and then plus, I just double checked, and we have put together uh, a winter preparedness toolkit. And so we want to make sure that it's uploaded. Duke is texting me here and now and said that it's uploaded to our Hope Facebook page. So feel free to download that and share it. Um, and it's not the end all, but it's hopefully a good thing to start to get things out there. All right, well, Pastor Montgomery, we really appreciate you all. And for those of y'all that are not familiar with Sardis, Mississippi is, that's about how many miles south of Memphis?
About 50 miles south of 55 from
Okay.
Memphis, Tennessee.
All right. Thank you, Pastor Montgomery. Hang
Thank
around.
you,
We can
Dr.
ask some
Minor.
more questions later on. Okay. All right. Now, we talked about how to stay physically safe during extreme winter weather, keeping food secure, staying warm, and protecting our homes during power outages. But there's another side to this. Yes, there's another side to this because for hope, we believe in being treated well, mind, body, and spirit. So there's something that we can overlook. When families are housebound, locked in for days at a time, the impact isn't just on our refrigerators or our heating systems, it can weigh on our minds, our emotions, and our sense of connection. Winter weather doesn't just freeze roads, it can freeze routines, isolate households, and create real emotional strain, especially for seniors, caregivers, and those living alone. So, before we move forward, let's take a moment to talk about mental health during extended isolation and how our churches can be a lifeline of hope and support. We are fortunate this evening to have one of our very own, Sister Bettina Campbell, LMSW, as our next panelist. She is our National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated Hope Health Ministry National Mental Health A Better Way Coordinator. Good evening, Sister Bettina.
Good evening, Dr. Miner.
All right, let's jump right into it. What are some signs that someone might be struggling mentally after being homebound for days?
Well, you might want to start watching for changes in their mood,
Okay.
changes like in their sleep habits, whether they're sleeping too much or not sleeping at all, changing in their appetites. The same thing. Are they eating too much? Are they eating constantly? Are they not eating? Do they appear to be responding or acting out behaviorally, being irritable and moody? Are they withdrawn? Are they anxious? Or do they seem hopeless? And all of these can be signs of emotional strain. But if someone who has typically been answering the phone or texting and all of a sudden they stop, then that might be a cue that you need to check in on them.
All right, so that's wow. That is something. Well, we're not talking about these people that are homebound, but how can our churches, our congregations, support members facing loneliness or seasonal depression?
Well, the church can support members who are lonely or seasonally depressed by fostering a communities through small and consistent groups, such as organizing a phone tree, or they can have prayer partners or virtual check-ins. They can share uplifting scriptures and offer space for honest conversation. And they remind members that seeking help if they need it is not a weakness, it's wisdom.
Wow, I like that. I like that. What can individuals do to protect their mental health during extended isolation?
Well, you want to try to stay as connected as you possibly can. Call a friend again, join a virtual a Bible study, or start a prayer journal and write in it. You want to keep some kind of routine going. If it's possible, you want to get out in the sunlight. Just step outside for a few minutes and come back in. And you want to keep your body moving because even small acts of self-care can restore peace. Finally, they want to make sure that they limit their consumption of stressful news and take breaks from
Mm,
social media
uh,
just to help manage their anxiety. You don't want to
wow.
go down that rabbit hole.
Right, and a lot of people watching a lot of bad news that had their social media and TV on during this last cold snap. Well, what about faith? What role does faith play in managing our mental health um, during these hard winter seasons?
But the thing about faith is it can always remind us that we're never truly alone. We got prayer, scriptures, and worship. It can anchor us when the world feels uncertain around us. God's presence is constant. Even we say we know that God is with us during the storms, but we need to remind ourselves that He's also with us during the calm.
Okay. And we know that we shouldn't have a problem doing virtual worship because that's one thing the pandemic taught us. Now,
Yes.
Sister Bettina, you shared a whole bunch. Is there anything else you'd like to share about mental health in the winter?
Well, I would like to say that faith is a powerful resource. However, it's important for us to remember that it's most effective when it's complements rather than replaces professional care. And so just don't be ashamed if you feel a need to have professional care. Again, what we said, that it's not shame, it's wisdom. And so we want you to make sure that if you need to seek professional care, that you do so.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. I'm also getting reminded from our from Brother Duke and our technical team to remind everyone that we also are streaming this on social media. Those that are watching on social media, if you have a question or a comment, we have people monitoring it, and we'll do our best when we get to the Q&A section to respond to that. Amen. Thank you for joining, and we are just I don't know if people are still stuck inside or whatnot, but it's a tremendous number of people across the many different social media platforms that are watching us on tonight. So we appreciate you taking time out to join us. All right. Now, as we've seen, winter storms don't just challenge our physical safety, they can also weigh heavily on our emotional and spiritual well-being. When families are housebound for days, isolation can take a toll. Or if you see, some of y'all probably wondering, Sister Mine didn't knock me in the head. I was putting the back stick because on the wood. For some of y'all that's from the country, you know what a back stick is. And when I leaned over to put that back stick in the fireplace there, I leaned over too far, and my forehead touched up against that grate. And let me let you know, it was hot. And so I'm going to have to deal with this little burn part on my forehead as a reminder. Don't get close. But that fireplace really put out the heat. And I thank God for the chainsaw and for folks across the area who cut down trees and had plenty of wood. All right. But when people are homebound and they're caught up and they're here, and that's our churches. We must continue to be the places of connection, comfort, and care, especially during the coldest seasons. But even as we address mental health, we must also turn our attention to another critical issue affecting our communities year-round: HIV/AIDS. February 7th, you look at your calendar, February 7th is Saturday. That's National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, a time to educate, empower, and engage our congregations in the fight against stigma and silence. All right? HIV continues to disproportionately impact Black Americans, especially youth and women. But through testing, treatment, and truth-telling, we can change the narrative. Our churches have a unique opportunity to lead with compassion, clarity, and commitment. Again, we're going to talk with Sister Bettina. We're going to talk to Sister Bettina about how faith communities can be a part of this solution. All right. Sister Bettina, why is HIV testing so important in 2026?
Well, as you know, Dr. Miner, I've been working with HIV for over 30 years. And it still concerns me that so many people don't know their status. Because early detection is critical because it leads to early treatment, which saves lives and prevents transmission. Testing is confidential, it's quick, and it's available in many of the clinics or in your doctor's office. You know, for some who are embarrassed to go to a clinic or don't live near a clinic, there is home tests, and they're quite accurate when used correctly. They are great for first steps in detection, but professional follow-up is always needed.
Okay. Well, how can churches talk about HIV without increasing stigma?
Well, first of all, we got to take off our non-judgmental hat, and we got to learn to speak with compassion and truth. And we got to put emphasis on the fact that just like any other chronic illness, HIV is a chronic illness. It's not a moral judgment. We need to share our testimonies. We can offer prayers, and we can remind our members that Jesus ministered to the sick with love and compassion and not shame.
All right. And we know that some people are doing a few things coming up on the weekend, but they are no, maybe a little bit late, but we'll say it anyhow. What partnerships should congregations consider for February 7th?
Well, you know, they can partner with their local health department or with social service or with HIV or HIV/AIDS organizations in their community, and have them come to their church, like they host a prayer vigil or share prevention resources. or invite speakers or educate to educate their congregation. You can have a speaker come out. You can also offer testing in your church if that's an option that your leadership is open to. But most important, I think that you should be reminding people to get tested. You can put a like with us at our church, we put up a table to and to give people information about HIV, to give them the HIV ribbon. There is the HIV ribbon, and there's also a Black AIDS ribbon, and this is Black HIV/AIDS Month. So doing things like that, offering lunch and learns throughout the year to provide information and to offer comfort.
All right. Well, you shared a bunch of information, Sister Benz, you always do. Is there anything else you would like to share before we move on to our next topic?
I just want to emphasize the fact that testing is critical. It's important that you get tested, that you know your status. And if your test unfortunately comes back positive, that you get into care immediately. There's no shame in being HIV positive. The shame is not getting into care early and getting the treatment that you need that can greatly improve your quality of life.
All right. Well, thanks twice, Sister Bettina. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. As we reflect on National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, we're reminded that healing in our communities takes many forms: education, compassion, testing, treatment, and support. But it also takes something deeply personal: the willingness to give. Amen. All right. Now let's go to our next topic: our NBC USA Hope 2026 Kickoff Blood Drive, our Sleeves Up campaign. That brings to another life-saving opportunity this month. Our blood drive, part of the Red Cross Sleeves Up campaign, that lets us know that every pint of blood donated can help us, can help up to 3 people: patients in surgery, children battling illnesses, or accident victims in urgent need. And here's the beauty of it: you don't need a bus, a booth, or a big event. You just need your heart, your time, and your commitment to saving lives. The Sleeves Up campaign allows you to pledge online and give blood at any Red Cross location. Our official campaign is titled NBC USA Hope 2026 Kickoff: Give Blood, Give Hope, Give Life. You can join by clicking the campaign link or scan the QR code that's on your screen now. After pledging, schedule your appointment, donate, and share your impact using the hashtag NBCUSA Donates Blood. Let's make this personal. Let's make it powerful. Let's make it National Baptist. All right. So let's talk a little bit more detail how this works. How can, we had 3 big questions come up. How do members join this campaign? Well, you go through the link, click on the link, or you can go to the QR code, click pledge to donate, sign in, or if you already, or if you have an account already, or create a Red Cross account and enter NBC in the sponsor zip code box. Then schedule donation at any Red Cross location. We know we had a lot of people we missed early on who do something the first year. We apologize. We didn't get the word out soon enough. And some people actually have given blood, but there was confusion in the sign up. Look, we understand we won't necessarily get credit for it, but some lives have been saved because of your donation. So we appreciate that. Now it says, what if someone has never donated before? What should they expect? Well, the process takes about an hour. You'll register, answer some health questions. The donations itself is really on about 8 to 10 minutes, and you enjoy some refreshments. Your blood may help up to 3 people. Safe, simple, and deeply impactful. And the other thing, how can church promote the campaign this month? Share the flyer and your QR code in your church bulletins, group texts, and announcements. Encourage your members to pledge and post on social media using the hashtag NBCUSA Donates Blood. Remind them no bus is needed, just heart and commitment. This is our first time doing it. We know this in many ways has been a trial for us. Next year, we'll have even more practice in getting it done. But anyway, right now where we are, let's make it happen. NBC USA family. All right? Okay, now, As we lift up the life-saving impact of our NBC USA Hope Blood Drive, we're reminded of something powerful. Every donation is an act of love. It strengthens families, supports hospitals, and gives hope to people we may never meet. The spirit of compassion leads us directly into another major focus for February: Women in Heart Health, American Heart Month. That's why I have on my, as close as I can find in the closet, red shirt. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death in our nation, and it affects our communities, Black communities, at disproportionate rates. American Heart Month calls us to focus on heart disease prevention through healthy habits, screenings, and education. Women's heart health is a major emphasis, as women, especially Black women, often experience overlooked or misunderstood symptoms. But the good news is this: prevention works. Awareness saves lives, and our churches can be catalysts for change. Now, what are we doing this month for your National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated Hope Health Ministry? Well, we're participating with the American Heart Association on this Friday, on Go Red Day, inviting everyone to wear red and stand in solidarity with women's heart health. And of course, our big thing is on the 15th, the third Sunday, NBCSA Hope Wear Red Sunday. It's our denominational call to action: testimonies, blood pressure checks, heart healthy tips, and congregational engagement. And we look forward to our NBC USA churches doing what? Posting their Wear Red pictures on our NBC USA Hope Facebook page. Look, let me let you know, it's not just National Baptist churches. I was did a search on Facebook, or I do it each year, and it's Methodist churches, Kojic churches, non-denominational churches. And I know it's from us because instead of saying Go Red Sunday, they have Wear Red Sunday. And that's something for the National Baptist. So do that. We want to be able to share it and show our commitment to women in heart health. All right? Now, before we close tonight, I want to highlight an exciting opportunity for those looking to deepen their impact in health ministry. All right? Our NBC USA Hope Health Ministry Spring 2026 training is launching this Thursday. I want you to be part of it. Now, we're not starting the class. We're doing like you should always do with an online class or any class. We have our orientation. Our orientation session is this Thursday, February 5th from 7:30 to 8:30 Central Time. And during this session, we'll give you an overview of what we'll be training. We'll do the Health Ministry Ambassador, Health Ministry Promoter. We'll do it after we have an orientation. We'll do it each Thursday night from February 12th through May 28th. The classes will be from 5:30 to 8:30 Central Time. They'll be online via Zoom. They're going to be interactive. We're going to have a study guide for you, each person, and there's a $25 registration fee. And when you go through the first 8 weeks, you will be part of our Health Ministry Ambassador, Certified Health Ministry Ambassador class. And this talks about our health initiatives, the basics, the connection between faith and health, the steps to go through and start a health ministry, so on and so forth. And each class that we have will be half of a lesson. So in a 2-week period, you'll complete one lesson. All right. And then after we get through the first 8 weeks, the next 8 weeks will go to our second class, the Health Ministry Promoter. And that will be for help us to understand how we go out and do outreach, education, engagement in health ministry. So whether you're just getting started or looking to expand your role, this training equips you with the tools, knowledge, and spiritual foundation to serve with excellence. We're also offering a refresher course for those who've already gone through the training. And you can join us for the orientation, and we'll give you some dates for our refresher training for those who have already completed it. Now, because we're dealing with non-governmental funders for the foreseeable future, we're going to have to make a preference for some upcoming mini grants that we have to those churches or conventions or associations that have key people who've undergone our updated Hope Health Ministry training. So we need to make sure we do that because, as I always say, she who has the goal makes the rules. All right. So just, I know we only have to the rest of this evening, tomorrow, and then up to Thursday, but encourage your health ministry leaders. Yeah, the people that's just interested in outreach. They don't have to have any medical training at all to join us on Thursday. You can share this flyer with them. You can share it on your social media, chat, or comment. All right. And this is a national training, and it's open to all of our NBC USA churches. Okay. So let's keep building our capacity. Let's keep growing our leaders, and let's keep walking in wellness and wisdom together. All right. And so let's keep this momentum going. I don't know if you know it tonight, but we've also, when you go to our website, we have 2 toolkits. We already talked about the winter preparedness. We also have a toolkit for women in heart health. Download those and find some valuable information. Again, if there's some questions, concerns about it, you can email us at info@hopenbc.com. We'll put that up more later on if you have questions or comments. Now, as we wrap up tonight's discussion, let's take one more look at our key February observances. These are powerful opportunities for your health ministers to lead with love, learning, and life-saving action. Okay, Saturday, National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. All right, we're in the middle of our NBCSA Hope 2026 Blood Drive Kickoff. This is Women in Heart Health, American Heart Month. Friday is also Go Red Day. And of course, our big day, the third Sunday, February 15th, NBCUSA Hope Wear Red Sunday. Let's continue to move forward in faith, health, and service, one congregation, one campaign, one conversation at a time. And again, you can see the copy on our screen here. You also can download a full list of annual health services at our website, hopenbc.com. hopenbc.com. Whew. We've covered a lot tonight. Now it's your turn. If you join us on Zoom, please type your question in the chat or raise your virtual hand. If those tuning in via social media, Dr. Copper is monitoring comments and will make sure your voice is heard. Let's take a few moments to hear from you. All right, so how do you pay the fee? So join us. You don't have to pay a fee to join us for the orientation Thursday. You don't have to pay anything to join. Thursday is free. Just come in and join us on Thursday. The only thing you have to do is just do the registration part. And doing the orientation on Thursday, we'll walk through the option you have for paying the fee. That's what you'll have to do there. Okay? All right. What other questions do we have? And Duke, you help me. All right. Wow. Okay, I have a question. This is a new one here for us, Duke. But the RSV, somebody's asking here from social media, how can churches help families with young people protect against RSV? Well, I mean, it's the same things we talked about during COVID-19. You know, the hand washing, crowded indoor spaces, keeping sick children at home. If you got some symptoms and stuff, I know sometimes we'll just try to put it off. But right now, in the winter, these things are popping up. It's better to go in and have them checked out and to make sure everything is okay. All right. And again, for those that are watching us, okay. How can youth ministry support teens? Wow. Dealing with depression or isolation. Is Sister Bettina still with us? Sister Bettina still on? All right. So, Chris, how can youth ministry support teens dealing with seasonal depression? How can youth ministries support teens dealing with seasonal depression and isolation?
Well, again, like we said, try
Sister Bettina. Okay, there we go.
Try to get them involved and engaged in some. You've got a lot of online things going on. Create teams and be on. Have conversations. Reach out to them, and it's hard. It's hard if somebody is isolated and depressed. But if you know them, if you have a relationship with them, reach out to them. Make sure that try to, on a consistent basis, like every day, try to at least have a conversation with them 1 or 2 times a day to see what's going on with them. And don't just talk about the same thing, but think of interesting things that they might like to hear about that you can involve them with. One of the things that we know teens like to do is that they like gaming. So if you are into gaming too, that's a way that you can reach out and help them too, because that keeps their minds occupied and it brings them out somewhat. But just depends on what they're depressed over. If you can get them to talk to you, and it's just if it's a situational type of depression, then try to help them through that situation. If it's something more serious, then you want to try to get them some help, get them some professional help. And again, have calling them, sending them little notes, texting them, sharing funny jokes with them doing texting. Call them up and listen to. You can call them up and listen to some music that they
All
are
right.
get on
Is
Zoom,
that me?
like we're on Zoom,
Okay.
and listen to some music that they like to hear and talk about that. Discuss something that they may be interested in, so that they don't feel like they are alone or by themselves.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sister Bettina. All right. So there's a question about the training. It says, can someone join the training if they missed the orientation session? Yes. The orientation is helpful, but not mandatory. We go in and once we do the orientation session on Thursday, we'll also post out on our Facebook page and our whole page about ways you can come and be a part of what we're doing. Okay. Oh wow. I knew this was coming, Brother Duke. And it says, how does this training connect to the mini grant program? Well, first of all, let me tell you right now, we do not have funds in hand, but we have several opportunities that are being presented our way that we're in discussions about. And each and every one of them have asked us about our trained health ambassadors. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we need to make sure that we have as many we have across the nation. We don't know where those opportunities will come. And we also, even with the ones who've done through the training, we got to do the refresher training because this new environment, we have a new kind of lingo that we have to share, that we have to discuss. So we'll update you so you'll be able to talk the talk and walk the walk in this current situation. All right. So we're gonna make our preference for those who've completed the training and getting those things done. Okay. Wow. What's the best way? That's a good question. They said, what's the best way to stay connected between webinars? All right. You heard that. Well, a lot of people don't realize we have a Facebook page. And on that Facebook page, we have information that we share on a daily basis. I think we have the our daily scripture. We have our our daily scripture, and we have our devotional, reflection devotional that's going out. We have a newsletter that we've been trying to. We got delayed by the storm and stuff that we're doing. The Beacon of Hope that you can subscribe to that we have in. That if you ever have any questions in between, you can always have somebody can to connect with you at info@hopenbc.com, info@hopenbc.com. So you can somebody will type that in the chat for you. So there's all kinds of ways you can stay connected in between. You don't have to wait till the session to come in to connect with us. We try to stay as active as we can to do that. Okay. And if you hadn't followed us on our Facebook page, do so. And we try to update our webpage. If you looked at it yesterday, it's different today because we have our 2 new toolkits and our app. If you download our app, our Hope app, we do have some push notifications that you'll be able to know when we have our latest information coming in. So there's a lot of ways for you to stay connected with our Hope Health Ministry. And it's a two-way street. If you have some ideas or thoughts about some things we do, let us know. Some of the things that we have done over the last few years have been from suggestions from the field. And we're so thankful for the collaboration we have with our ushers and nurses, because that's really helped us at our sessions, our national sessions that help us with manning our tables and providing information in some of the settings. When the pandemic was even going bad, we were masking and other things. And that's one thing Dr. Kimber has really focusing on, us being this oneness. So we said as well. Woo! Well, y'all got some good questions tonight. Okay. Oh, wow. Is this for Pastor Montgomery? Oh, what it said, what should church include in a winter emergency toolkit? Look, I would suggest everybody to download the toolkit that we've done. Download that toolkit. It's not necessarily an exhaustive thing. It's not meant to be an end all, but that toolkit has a lot of helpful information on it. If you do that, it gives you some things that you should think about. And I know we know a lot of things we do in church, but I think now as this climate change, we should start sharing this winterization thing. As soon as winter hits, remind people, because we still it's a reminder. If you remind, so people can prepare for what's about to happen. Okay. Again, those that are in the chat, that are watching us on Zoom, you can ask questions in the chat. Okay. Wow. Okay. Whew. I wonder, okay, let me. All right. So it says, how can churches host a successful Wear Red Sunday day? Well, let me tell you something. Success, like I said, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Success is in the eye of the beholder. If you've never done this before, and you come in and just have 7 or 8 people that wear red, and you can say something about it, that is a successful Sunday. But the thing you want to do is make sure you get with your pastor to make sure that he or she is on board. Have a little insert in the bulletin. We know some churches got away from bulletins. Have something they can put on the PowerPoint slide or whatever the case may be, or if it's okay to have a handout. And if you download our toolkit, there's some information inserts there for the bulletin. There's some sermon notes and other things that you can share. Look, if only one person is helped because you share some information during your Wear Red Sunday, it's been a success. This is not a quantity thing per se, it's a quality thing. And that's what we're looking at. Okay. All right. So somebody's asking now, and for those that are watching, some other things here for this is Bettina's put in here for our young people in the mental health. She says, honor and validate their feeling, even if you disagree. Remember, it's their perspective. Pay attention and actively listen. Don't be so ready to jump in with your point of view. Realize that you may not be the best person to talk to them. Find a trusted individual who can help if needed. And with my children, my granddaughter, because my grandson is 3 years old, I text them, check on them to see how things are going, and everything. Make sure I put my little love sign. And then for my core family, we have a family chat. And the family chat, there's different things that are happening so we can stay connected. And we try to make sure that everybody, if you're going through a high, we all are together. It's going through a low, we're in it together. Different ways that we can kind of connect and make sure throughout all the ages of our family, our immediate family, that we're going. Okay. All right. Somebody asked about the regional coordinators. Okay. All right. So yes, we have regional coordinators. We divided up our the National Baptist Father and the Sunday School Publishing Board set up. We have 7 different regions. We currently are not without a regional coordinator in the Southeast, but Dr. Copper is filling in for that till we get it done. You can go to our website. It has a list of states and the person there. But if all else fails, just email info@hopenbc.com. You can find your regional coordinator. Great question, because where in the past, when we had different administration in Washington, D.C., we could count on a lot of national grants. But now the current situation we're in, we're doing a lot more things regionally and locally. So it's a lot more work we're doing with our regional coordinators and our health ambassadors at the local level. And we're doing our best to work with some of the regions for the parent body are having regional meetings. We have HOPE components. And also for the Southwest 1, Southwest 2, we are having our own HOPE regional meetings. And Sister Carter put those in the chat that'll be coming up. And we'll share some, we'll bring the National Baptist where you all are. Just as an example, when we were up in, we were in Hernando, which is 30 miles south of Memphis, at our church last year for the regional meeting for Southwest 1. And we made some great contacts with Methodist Savannah Healthcare to participate in their 901 health campaign and some other things. But it was all made possible because they knew about the National Baptist was coming and to the regional meeting. So leverage that to identify a resource to help you where you all are. Okay. All right. So somebody said, "Oh, this is a great webinar. Folks missed it," stuff like that and everything. Well, we do have it on our YouTube page because you know how Facebook is now. Facebook will drop the stuff after a few weeks for Facebook Live, but we do have a YouTube page. Again, if you can click on it from our webpage, and you can watch all the webinars that we've gone back. We've been doing this now for several years, and look at some past webinars and pick up information. Feel free, yes, you can download as an MP4 format. We've heard from across the country that people have downloaded it and shared it in their health ministry, and they've used it as a teaching moment. That they've actually had to print out the toolkits and walk through and done it, including some of our special sessions that we had. You can do that as well. Woo, dude, but it's but a lot of people get still are getting out, still didn't get all the way back out. They're still stuck in the weather or something. There's a lot of questions. Good questions. A lot of questions this evening. All right. Let's see if we see anything in the chat. All right, a couple more questions. I think we're going to be about to wrap it up because we try to be done in an hour's time. Oh, wow. Somebody asked about, I guess they're saying that we're saying a lot of things about professional help. They talk about mental health. What about scripture and prayer? Okay. Yeah, scripture and prayer is always important because they offer us comfort, perspective, and hope. That's why every day on our HOPE Facebook page, we have a reflection. I know it says the minor's reflection for Sister Minor and I, but we, for what we're doing, we're doing one for our church. We just copied it and have it also posted to the National Baptist page. And we've gotten great feedback from people because each day they have a scripture, they have a quote, and they have a story, and they have a reflection of a short prayer and a call to action. And they found it very helpful. And some of them have now made it because on the HOPE page, every day you have the scripture of the day and you have your daily reflection in addition to anything else that we've done. So some of them now use the National Baptist page as their daily devotional piece. And we do apologize from time to time with how we get stuff scheduled. We try to have it up every morning by 6 a.m. Central Time, but sometimes it's a little later and whatnot, but we try not to miss a day to make sure you have that. And again, the feedback that we have received from you all has been very been wonderful. And on behalf of myself and my wife, Lottie, we do appreciate you all for letting us know this has been helpful to you. All right. And the last question that we have, I talk about, are there printable checklists? Well, that's somebody who hadn't downloaded the toolkit. All right, because in the toolkit, we do have checklists available. And again, as we put together this run a show, we kept coming across so much great information. We put together this toolkit. If there's something missing, should be added or whatever, let us know. And I also reached out to Pastor David Frazier down at Revelation Baptist Church in Mobile, who works with our disaster relief. And I sent him a copy. We've been working together for years on different things. And I asked him to review it. If there's other things that we could do it, because we truly want to make sure that our disaster relief and this thing we all working together, we're one National Baptist. All right. Okay. That is no, look, we're gonna cut it off right there. I don't think we have any questions, but I'm gonna stop before we get any more. Thank you across social media and everybody. Woohoo! I don't know if we didn't do what we supposed to did or we did it so well, but the questions we had, and I'm just grateful that we had the information to share to answer those things to y'all on tonight. We try to do our best to prepare and not just, as they say, filibuster through an hour worth of your time is valuable. So thank you for your thoughtful questions and comments. Your engagement tonight helps us build stronger, healthier churches, and we're just getting started. Now, as we prepare for next month, here are the key health services your health ministries can begin planning for. National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, March. National Nutrition Month, March. National Kidney Month, March. And of course, our second biggest thing is the third Sunday in March, which is our Taste Test Sunday, NBC USA Taste Test Sunday, where we have a lot of, we try to do some diabetic-friendly desserts and other dishes. And of course, March 24th is American Diabetes Association Diabetes Alert Day, and we will be working on a toolkit for Taste Test Sunday. All right? We appreciate your feedback. Would you kindly complete our webinar survey? And if you, those that are watching in the chat or comments, if this is your first time being a part of one of our webinars, just say in there, put a 1 in there. We see that 1, we know it's your first time being in there, and we hope that it won't be your last time. So we pasted for our survey in the chat, and we'll also do for Zoom, and we'll also put it there in the for our social media. We appreciate the tireless work of our NBC US Hope team who do this so much out of the goodness of their heart. Yours truly, Dr. Michael O. Minor, Dr. Desi Levy, Sister Lottie Minor, Sister Nettie Johnson, Pastor Dexter Moraney, Sister Ellen McKnight Hill, Dr. Felisa Washington, Minister Geraldine Moore, Sister Loretta Miller, Dr. Lavora Williams, Sister Bettina Campbell, Dr. Marion Talley, Sister Ophelia Carr, and of course, the person behind the scenes making sure that we have everything together on our technology side, and that we'll be working with our class and everything else, our technology person extraordinaire, the person who got me to let me know that AI is not the big bad bugbear, Brother Thomas Duke Robinson. We do appreciate him tonight. Our 7 regional coordinators, the Northeast, Pastor Daniel Blackburn. Southwest 1, Pastor Bernard Montgomery. Southwest 2 and temporarily the Southeast, Dr. Linda Copper. Midwest, Sister Teresa Fales Farr. The West, Sister Farah Robinson. And our new regional coordinator, which we will get a chance for you all to meet in person or on Zoom, Pastor Will Mitchell from the Far West. We'll do that on then. And again, to connect with your regional coordinator, info at hopenbc.com, hopenbc.com. All right. Thank you all for joining us on this evening. All right. And for those that are watching on Zoom, we invite you to hang out for a few minutes. We'll just kind of a little debrief, unwind what we have. Again, you can always connect with us in between the webinars on our webpage, hopenbc.com, our Facebook page, National Baptist Convention, USA Incorporated, Hope Health Ministry. We're on YouTube and NBC USA Hope. Again, please complete that webinar survey. Your feedback strengthens our ministry. All right, and again, for those that are watching on Zoom, we'll open the mics for additional session feedback. Now, we'll see y'all next, which will be Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, 7:30 p.m. Central Time for our next TempleCare Matters webinar. Before we close, we recognize once again our president, Dr. Boise Kimber, who reminds us that we are changing the course, not our conviction. The gospel still works. This has been a production of the National Baptist Convention, USA Incorporated, the nation's most collaborative religious denomination. May God continue to bless our bodies, minds, and spirits as we walk in wellness and wisdom together.